today's video, we will be learning how to make this elegant flounce patterns in order for you to achieve this. But for now, listen to this. And twirl, and twirl, and twirl. Twirl. Before I start this episode, I have a small favor to ask from you. More than 80% people that watch this channel do not subscribe. And my goal is to reach 50. Meaning that please, if you've ever watched my video, you've ever liked, you've ever commented and shared, please do subscribe. It actually helps our audience to grow. Thank you. This pattern or this technique can be applied on any fabric of your choice, but the fabric I'm using today is a bridal sateen. So here you find the middle point of the bridal sateen. Depending on the inches you want or the width that you would want, you try to get a fabric that has the length that would achieve the length that you would desire. So here you would actually make that cross, like that cross-sectional pattern. You draw that first, and here the intervals I used was 3 inches intervals. So here I'm starting from the beginning, the end, using 3 inches interval. But normally you can also decide to use the inches that would be suitable for you. If you want it to be bigger, you can go in for 5 inches. If you want it to be smaller, you can go in for 2 inches. But here I use 3 inches interval for each. And this is how the spiral is being drawn, right? After you gotten all the inches aligned, it is up to you to also make sure that you get your midpoint right, and then you do other cross-sectional drawings so that it can just guide you for you to get nothing but the base or the exact measurement throughout. Okay, that will serve as a guide for you to know where each section is going after. But if you think you can really work around this with just this flounce, with just that cross-sectional, then you are good to go. So this is how it was drawn, right? So you draw it like this, like that, cross-sectional like that, pass there to this section, to that. You can see that it looks like cross-sectional two cross-sectional that has been shifted, and those intervals that I was talking about. So you have your intervals, and it would be backed on all the cross sections you've done there. And the only difference or the only information, like the only just you would need is the second cross section is to help you maintain that 3 inches interval throughout. So after that, you just join it using like your measurement that you done. You join it out to create that flounce or that spiral shape that is being created here. If you can really take a look at it. I'm sorry, maybe if you can't really hear me now, like I've got this serious catarrh, I can't really even breathe from my nose. I'm breathing from my mouth. That has been long since I made an upload. Decided to make this voiceover so that I can still catch up with you guys and not be seeing anything that is going on here. So that is why you see me doing here in this section. That is only just serving as a guide for me to get that consistent measurement throughout, right? So that is what you see me doing. If you really understand this, if you have any question, kindly jump it in the comment section. But if you decide to use a fabric like organza to achieve something like that, you would need your heating scissors for the cutting, or your normal scissors for the cutting, and then your soldering iron for the melting of the organza tip. Because organza really frays and you wouldn't want to do that, right? So here, this is how you do. This is the pattern you go around. You have this spiral shape at the end of the day. You get for sure, you get it. Like that is how it goes, right? You find the middle and then you just flow it out like so. But if you the best of it, you realize that the measurement has been quite inconsistent, you can just go about it and then just correct all those measurements that has been quite inconsistent through it. So here you see me getting my scissors, arranging it in the perfect section that I wanted. Because I wanted to have two, I actually made sure I had folded it to achieve that. But if you just want a single one, it's good to go to just do your drawing or just a single sateen or whatever fabric that you intend to use to in order for you to achieve it. You can just do it just once and then you are good to go. But if you would want to have maybe more than one, you can just, you know, fold them or, as many times as you would love to, and then you get it out. So this is how I do my cutting. As you can see, the other essence that was not used, I just cut it out and then I start cutting using the pattern that I drafted in order to make it extremely easy for me to do that. So that is what you see me doing here in this section. If you have any question, kindly drop it in the comment section, and then I will be willing and excited to reply you. So here in this section, that was what was happening here. And the best fabrics or the best things that these are really useful, it can also be known as ruffles. Okay, so you could use the same like flounce pattern to sew your bridal gowns, like especially the down section of it. You could just use it for maybe your waist. This is the best way to actually go about flare that are not bigger, and it really saves a whole lot of fabric. Spiral measurement or the spiral technique saves a whole lot of fabric than your normal flare measurement, and it makes your work extremely easy and neat. So I would always advise that you go in for this method when cutting like a smaller flare than like the normal folded division and stuff like that. I think I would really for now. So here it is. You see me doing that. I folded it into four so that each one would have a lining, a perfect lining for each other. So this was the achievement that was done. You see, when you actually gather it at the tip, you realize that it has that effect, right? So after you gather it, you realize that it has that nice, lovely effect, right? So this is how it looks. So this is it. This is a trick. You just get your base and then you sew this one on it, right? So this is what you see there. And these are the folds, like these are the flare folds that you're getting. So this is the best way to go about when you're cutting a flare that is smaller. This is the best technique to apply when you cut the flare that is smaller. So if you can see how I did the hand gathering, the effect it was given, that was just the ones that we achieved. That was achieved at the neckline of that project. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and